Jamaica is at risk of heavy rainfall and strong winds associated with Hurricane Beryl, which is heading toward the island. The extremely dangerous Category 4 storm moved across the Atlantic Ocean yesterday afternoon toward the Caribbean's Windward Islands, where it is expected to bring life-threatening winds and flash flooding today. The U.S. National Hurricane Center, NHC, says storm surge is expected for portions of the Windward Islands. The center of the hurricane is expected to travel across the Windward Islands this morning as a Category 3 storm, the second strongest level on a 5-step scale. That should be the third strongest level on a 5-step scale. Principal Director of the Met Service, Evan Thompson, says the powerful system has the potential to create severe damage in the Windward Islands.
Right now, this is an extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane that is moving into the Windward Islands. A very dangerous situation, especially for the islands of the Eastern Caribbean, the Leewards in particular. And then it is a potentially catastrophic hurricane with very strong winds. Life-threatening storm surge is possible, damaging waves likely, very heavy rainfall as well. And the heavy rainfall and localized rainfall will extend through the Windward Islands, and Jamaica is also at risk of that heavy rainfall as the system moves closer and closer to us. Not just the heavy rainfall, but the strong winds associated with a hurricane and all the other complexities with storm surge and landslides and all these other hazards that come along with hurricane activity.
Principal Director of the Met Service, Evan Thompson. The Met Office is warning that the current projections are for Hurricane Beryl to begin affecting Jamaica late Tuesday night and continue into early Thursday morning. It says on Wednesday the country should brace for hurricane conditions, including extremely dangerous winds, storm surge, widespread heavy rainfall, and thunder showers. And the National Works Agency, NWA, says inspections are being conducted on major roads and bridges to ensure their integrity and safety during the storm. Communication manager at the NWA, Stephen Shaw, told Radio Jamaica News that the agency has stepped up its drain cleaning program ahead of the storm.
In the Kingston and St. Andrew area, what we have done is that we have started the cleaning of the Sandy Gully, the lower section that is near Berger. We also are focusing on drains in the Wikiwaki area. In Montego Bay in particular, we are focusing on the north and south gullies and other areas to include in the east of Jamaica, St. Thomas. We have asked the contractor working on the South Coast Highway Improvement Project to go in and inspect all critical infrastructure that there is. We have some locations along the corridor that we know are prone to incidents of flooding, and so we are going to be paying particular attention to those areas.
Communication manager at the NWA, Stephen Shaw. Meanwhile, Minister with responsibility for Works, Robert Morgan, has instructed that all personnel in and NWA parish offices be put on standby to respond to the possible effects of Beryl. Heavy-duty vehicles are also to be pre-positioned to address potential challenges. Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, yesterday convened an urgent meeting of the Kingston and St. Andrew Disaster Preparedness Committee to discuss the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation's response plan for Hurricane Beryl. The meeting involved key officers of the KSAMC. Mr. Swaby says another meeting is to be held this morning with external agencies to assess their readiness to respond to the hurricane. He says the KSAMC will be making arrangements for the homeless.
What we are doing, we are trying to find some locations. For example, there's a temporary location at Church Street that can accommodate about 200 of them. We will be encouraging them to go to that center. Actually, that was a center that we had during COVID, and we'll be reopening that now.
Mr. Swaby says information on shelters in the corporate area will be posted online.
What I've instructed the disaster coordinator to do is to put all our shelters and our shelter managers and some form of contact to them on our website, on our social media platform, so that persons can know where the shelters are and they can have access to the shelters if needed. All shelter managers are on standby, and they have been equipped with their raincoat, their kit and all those things.
Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby. And Chief Executive Officer at the KSAMC, Robert Hill, says the Emergency Operations Center will be activated today.
We're going to be having staff on shift who have been previously trained on shift throughout the existence of the center itself, and we'll provide the hotline numbers. Also want to ensure that persons pay attention to the newscasts, pay attention to the information coming out of the Kingston and St. Andrews Corporation, as well as the Met Office and ADPEM and other national agencies for credible information that can help you amidst the disaster that is impending.
Chief Executive Officer at the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, Robert Hill. Opposition leader Mark Golding has announced that he will be renouncing his British citizenship. He made the disclosure during yesterday's meeting of the People's National Party's National Executive Council, NEC. The PNP president acknowledged that data on the views of Jamaicans on the issue of political leaders holding dual citizenship informed his decision to renounce his British citizenship.
And comrades, we have reached a point now where we have some data on the views of the public on this matter. And while I express my own view is on the way we ought to be going as a country in relation to this issue, I do not want my status to be something which could hold the party back, impact the party negatively, or any of our candidates who are on the road to victory in difficult seats which we're looking to win, to have any kind of disadvantage because of my status. So as a result of that, I have decided to take that issue off the table by renouncing my British citizenship.
PNP President Mark Golding. In May, the opposition leader confirmed that he was still a British citizen, but insisted that there was no legal basis for him to renounce his status in the United Kingdom at this time. However, since then, there have been calls for him to renounce, particularly from members of the governing Jamaica Labour Party. Meanwhile, Portland MP Beryl believes public pressure forced Mr. Golding to renounce his British citizenship.
The fact that this has taken Mark Golding 42 days to decide on a fundamental issue of dual allegiance says everything. He announced this at an NEC meeting of the PNP, which obviously shows that he has been under significant pressure internally and externally. Any well-thinking Jamaican would have to ask himself, a simple decision of dual allegiance has taken Mark Golding 42 days to come to a decision. You cannot have one foot in and one foot out.
Portland MP Beryl. And Member of Parliament for St. Andrew South Eastern, Julian Robinson, has also indicated that he will be renouncing his UK citizenship. In a release yesterday, Mr. Robinson said, while he recognizes that holding dual citizenship as a Commonwealth citizen is legal and consistent with Jamaica's constitution, the current debate risks becoming a distraction and diversion from the real issues affecting the Jamaican people. Mr. Robinson says he declared that he holds dual Jamaican and UK citizenship in 2011, when the Electoral Office of Jamaica modified the nomination forms for general election candidates and asked for their nationalities. He says he made the declaration on his nomination forms in 2011, 2016 and 2020 in an open and transparent manner. Mr. Robinson disclosed that he was born in the UK when his father was pursuing a master's degree in law. He says he came to Jamaica as a baby and has lived here since then. And now to end this newscast, a recap of the main points. Jamaica at risk of heavy rainfall